All right, it's 7 o'clock, we'll be good, sorry.
Well, good evening, President Gilsey, Superintendent Russell, and members of the school board. I have standing with me here tonight two outstanding fifth grade students from the intermediate campus. This is Kendall Graham, as I said, an outstanding fifth grade student. She likes to dance and spend time with her family. She is on her all-A honor roll and has had perfect attendance. Her favorite subject is reading, and she can definitely recommend some good books to you if you're searching. She takes dance lessons and participates in a youth group with her church each week. She has one brother, Riley, who's in 7th grade at the junior high, a sister, Skylar, who's an 11th grade student at the high school, and in the future, Kendall would like to be a dyslexia teacher. She's here tonight with her mom, Ashley. And over here to my right, another outstanding 5th grade student, this is Manny Gibbons. He's going to lead us in our prayer tonight. Also a 5th grade student who has been in Navarro ISD since pre-kindergarten. He likes to hang out with his friends and play sports. His favorite sport is baseball, and he has Little League tryouts this week, so we're wishing him lots of luck at his tryout. Manny is also an honor roll student and has had perfect attendance all year as well. He attends the Country Church in Marion, Texas. He lives with his big brother, Luis, who's a sophomore at high school, mom and dad, and a dog named Candy, and they live along the Geronimo Creek. Manny's favorite subject is science, and in the future, he would like to be in law enforcement in our city. Manny is here tonight with his mom, Cindy, his dad, James, and his big brother, Louis? Okay. So Manny's going to lead us in our prayer, and Kendall's going to lead us in my pledges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. Please bless the board members and the staff members as they make important decisions for everyone. Please be with those affected by the virus and help it goes away. Thank you for keeping us safe during the storm last week. Please watch over our bus drivers as they work so hard to get us to and from school each day. Amen.
All right, it is 7:03, and we will call this meeting to order. Members present, Hank Lee, Shai, Don Gillian, Judge Wilkie, Renee Rexville, Tracy Waller. Melissa's first time. I apologize. Now that this meeting has been duly called, and notice of this meeting is posted in accordance with the Texas News Act, section 5.1.043 of the Texas Government Code. We'll move right on into our public participation. And number 2, we will move right on to item number 5, our recognition. 5A is on Texas.
Okay, with us tonight is Ms. Molly Ryan, and she's going to come up here. Recently, some art students competed in a bass competition. Can you tell us what bass is?
Visual art scholastic event.
Right, and so we had 5 kids, Avery Brown, Ariana Villa, Noah Rodriguez, Jack McStreen, and Lauren Navarro. They all received the highest rating of 4 for every one of the pieces of art. Now, I don't quite understand why they all got on, but they all got the highest rating. So from there, Bar received a perfect score, in addition to the highest score, and Avery Brown will be leading on stage. So from here tonight, our art people will go ahead and come up here. We have Jack McStreen and Avery Brown. Going up to Jack in the middle, and Avery is on my right, and she's in the state. So thank you guys. Ms. Black, anything else you want to add?
Just that it's a really big deal to go to state, only 10% of each division, so Avery's Art 3, only 10% of the Art 3 kids from, and our region is pretty big, so from downtown Austin, to Johnson City, down to Sabine, that whole area, all of those high schools, only 10% of those top scores get to go to state, so it's a huge deal, pretty rare. So I'm super proud of all of them. Jacqueline also competed at the Scholastic Arts and Writing event, we got her results back in January. And she competed with other 11th graders throughout the whole entire southwest region of the country. And one of her photos got an honorable mention. So also huge. So I'm really proud of
Well done.
Great job.
So the other recognition was the National Blue Ribbon nomination for the elementary school. And I invited elementary teachers, if you're an elementary teacher, will you please stand up? Stand up, come on. You're gonna hear me talk about this probably every morning, but I'm just so tickled about that. If you don't know the extent of what the National Blue Ribbon was, first is to be nominated. There are only 26 schools in the state of Texas that are nominated, not districts, but schools. So 13 of those schools are nominated for high academics, and the other 13 are nominated for closing the gap. And we received the nomination from the commissioner for closing the gap. I remember back to when I interviewed with this board, some of the things that I was talked to about was the disparity between groups of kids. And what are we going to do? How are we going to meet the needs of our kids? Now, our nomination was based off of the 2019 scores. So that tells me already that we are doing some things to bring us to that level that we want to be and be the school district of the state of Texas and the nation. So we are meeting the gap. There's always room to improve, always. One of the things that we've had a conversation about at elementary is we're here and we can't go backwards. We can't go back and go down. It's just that new piece of competition because of the with this brings a lot of attention. And I think Laurel summed it up very well with her statement to her staff. You want to share what you had shared with the staff about the attention that you have and how things may change?
I just told them that we would have a lot of people coming to us asking how we do what we do, what are our secrets to success. We need to be able to define those areas where we're successful and how we recreate those areas. And of course, keep up the hard work. And we're all in this together. This is not just a third grade star situation. This is a pre-K through everyone's situation, all the support staff involved as well, as all the work programs working together. And it's everything on board.
Great, thank you. So from here, we have an application that we're filling out, and it requires quite a bit of narrative to go with it. Once that's done, we submit that in April, and by September, we should find out who the national blue ribbon schools are, and I have full faith that we're going to get national blue ribbon. At that time, we're going to go all out, we'll have banners, we'll have all kinds of shirts. We did make ribbons, and the boys will get one. This Snowmageddon last week kind of cut the truck for delivering more blue ribbons. So they didn't come in. I kept watching things they come in today, and they're supposed to be here last Monday. So you will get a blue ribbon. We made these, and all. It just says excellence in NISD elementary with a content. So we really can't use the blue ribbon name yet. We're kind of picky about that, but we can do our own little version. So we are going to start celebrating and making sure that our staff and students know how exciting this is. It goes back to some folks that are at Ms. McMullen campus on the intermediate. So I have high hopes for our scores with that group and forward, that knowing that we should be able to see some closing the gaps and have another blue ribbon nominee next year. The elementary can't get it for 5 more years, but all the other campuses can, so we're just gonna move right on that. But I just wanted y'all to understand the whole scope of this, if I hadn't already told you it from my moment. It's exciting, y'all. I'm going to turn it over to Bud, who is in charge of our CCD program.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Betsy Flora, and I am kind of best back here when we're doing the meetings and stuff. But tonight, I want to bring attention to kind of the state of the art, state of the art. Last year, and maybe a few years ago, we did state of the art for technology, kind of where we are. Here's where we are with CT. And I think we're doing really, really well. We've got a lot of work to do, and we have some things to face there. So the biggest thing that I want to talk about tonight is our partnerships that we develop with the industry around us and how that has been improved. One of the biggest problems that schools have had and faced in the past is how do we communicate with our community? How do we make partnerships with businesses to bring those into our classrooms for our students? How do we close those kinds of gaps with our businesses? And so one of the things right in the middle of that is our CTE career technical education programs. With the puzzle pieces, the ISD, administration, the teachers, the students, business and industry, and all of our partners together, I think we can let them do and help close those gaps. And that's what we can try to do with our first partnership with Notes. So the next thing that we want to bring together is academic skills, technical skills, our leadership skills through our CTSOs, which are our career technical student organizations, and of course our workplace plans. So when those come together, through those programs and studies, the only way they're successful, really in the long run for our students, getting those skill sets, is through our academic and our technical professions. Okay, next slide, did you get that? I don't know. Okay, so what I want to go over here is our current career technical education plans. We kind of renamed those a year ago. We sat down and talked about how do we get our parents and our community to kind of take a look at what these coherent pathways are. You know, how do we understand and endorse them? So when we give our presentations to the ninth grade parents, the ninth grade parents, we move them up to the 10th grade parents. We had them last couple of years for 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. Okay, and we had many, many nights there. Parents came up, they took a tour, they went and talked to counselors, they talked to Mr. Perry about AP classes and honors, and they came to my classroom and did about topics. And so they didn't really understand what does this endorsement mean that's required by hospital class. So it kind of made it look like, kind of like think about college degree in engineering. So your endorsement would be engineering, and then, of course, we all know there's several pathways to an engineering degree. Mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering, industrial engineering, electrical engineering. So when I help them kind of think about that, in terms of, think of that as an academy, I had a lot more success with how they were understanding what these pathways were, and what they were teaching. So we put them in this order here. So we have our business and industry division on the hospital 5, which is agricultural, marketing and finance, information technology, is all covered in the business and industry. Now we have STEM endorsement in cybersecurity. We have our only endorsement in public service, which is our health science pathway. And then our second STEM endorsement, engineering. And we actually have a third STEM, really under CPE with the math and science. If you can focus on those, it is still STEM. Okay, our first pathways. When we look at our business and industry endorsement under agriculture, we have our own science academy, which is the one that we have third, where we focus on equine science, normal management, livestock production, and family science. Next one, we have our horticulture science, floral design, and adult plant research. Okay, and then our third one, we haven't had a mechanics before, but this is the one where we created our relationship and our partnership with CNC. What we did was we took all of the curriculum that was in the agriculture and mechanics pathway, and we worked with engineers and people from CNC, and we talked about what was something common that we could come to that would develop the skills that the students need that were transferable to all companies in the field of manufacturing. And so we looked at doing the textbook that outlined the book of one, they loved it. It outlined electrical, it outlined a little bit of robotics, and it outlined it outlined down to function. You see function and this with that. Welding, all of it. And so we got together with people from CNC and we worked real hard as a bonus together. And we developed this pathway that we now call Applied Agricultural Engineering Academy. CNC Skill Academy. And I tell it here to include the tours, but it's not necessary for those students to do good that day because it says agriculture. Some of them have the tour questions, but they will certainly get it. They're not excluded, right? That we kind of turned out that the CNC partners like they're doing that day because they take the projects that they do every week. So that's when you put them down to agriculture, essentially, public schools and show. And so at this time, I have to go in and you guys are not. Okay. Now with that, this is Danny Alvarez, and go ahead and introduce yourself. Talk about how we met and how we got started.
Well, I've known Betsy for a long time. My parents, or my mom and my sisters are in the school system have been for a long time. And Betsy called me a good while back, and she asked me if I'd eat lunch or if we could meet and talk, and I said absolutely. And so not sure what Betsy was up to, but she ended up asking me. She goes, "Danny, what are you guys looking for out there? What are your needs? You know, we have so much industry and it's mean. What are the things that kids are missing? What do you, what is it that, in talking to her, you know, it was right in line with what we've been struggling with, is that, there's so many of the basics. It's just the simple things, you know, everything is a skill, and, you know, we talk, it's just nowadays, it's nobody's fault, but, I mean, how often do you, change your own oil? You know, how often do you change your air filter? When you go somewhere, you know, and it's done, and it's cheaper to get it done that way too. And, just so many kids, and we run into that, kids that have come out of college. We're sitting there, and you turn around, and this is not a joke, but you have a guy that hands you a pipe wrench, and he hands you a pair of towels. Just simple, common sense type of things, you know, just bringing that back. So you have one way, you know, you have a gap where, yeah, they may be the smartest guy, but they have no, you know, they're just missing on the other side, the hands-on. And the other one, they may have some of the hands-on, but, you know, bringing both of those together and understanding that they're both important. I don't care if you're in college, you go straight to work. It was just an opportunity for us to be able to talk about that. It didn't matter where they went, what they were doing. We've been talking, she brought us into this group, this community that I guess was working, trying to get the schools and the companies, working together. And, you know, we all have the same issues, the same, areas that we were struggling with as kids. And, you know, we got great jobs. I think we pay real good money. You know, kids have an opportunity to do really well, make a living. And, you know, it's just, you know, and we could sit there and we could complain about it. We could just, you know, just continue to allow it to be a problem, or we could get involved. And, that's what we did. We started working closer with Navarro. We've been doing it, I guess now this is our 4th year. And we started off slow, and we tried a number of things. The first year, like she said, we poured a concrete. We had just gotten started, I think, mid-year when we had the conversation. Kids had never put it back in concrete, and found a wheelbarrow, and never tied steel, never built forms, never swung a sledgehammer, this is all first time stuff that you're doing. The next year we were asked to build ticket booths, Mr. Greenlaw got involved, and, you know, we were struggling, we were trying to figure it out, we were using the books. We don't have this all figured out, we're certainly not teachers, but, you know, we know what we need. And we ended up making about a 10-hour trip, to Vegas, Texas. And, me and one of the other employees met up with Betsy and Kurt, and, we, went and
So you
visited.
know that's never been read. Where I went.
It's a long way. And this is, if you go to the San Antonio Livestock Show and Rodeo, and you go over to the Ag Mechanic Show, in Houston, San Antonio, it doesn't matter which one you go to, everybody knows who Vega is. And Vega is the smallest town you will ever see. I mean, there's nothing there, it's all farmland. But yet they have the most incredible program, and the things those kids build and learn. And the kids I got to talk to about what they were doing and how they did it, and then getting to talk to the teacher and understanding his path and how he got to where he is today. And they win it every year, hands down. And he opened his doors, he taught us a lot, he explained a lot, and we're trying to bring a lot of that back here, given his success. And hope to continue to grow it as this is right.
Okay. This is, William Magnolia, one substitution for.
I'm building in along the sector, mill operations for central region. I came back to Sabine about 3.5 years ago, and one of the first things that I got involved with when I came back was working with Betsy and Danny and you know, trying to see where we would be able to take it. I worked with Betsy on a project several years ago. So I knew Betsy and I knew what she stood for, and so I had no question about it. You know, I wanted to get involved with the whole process. And basically, my goal is to support Danny and the things that he's doing. He's incredibly driven at this. The effort that he puts into it is phenomenal. You know, for us as a company, it's you know, these are the intangibles. Right? There's no really return on investment when you're investing in educating kids. You guys know that about anything, right? But it's one of our core values is to give back to our community and try to do what we can to support the agriculture community. We have a manufacturing community here. There are hundreds of 6-figure jobs out here for people leaving high school with the right set of skills. And, I think, us being able to be a part of delivering or providing those skills, and, of course, with Danny, you get a little bit of adulthood in the training, which is part of the things that we're lacking now. And, making them responsible, having them pitch their ideas, just a whole business standout, for this, I think it's just, it's exceptional. And again, the thing that I'm most proud of is with both Betsy and Danny, is how driven they are to the success of this program and making it go forward.
Thank you. I think we've already supported ourselves. Well, I'd like to bring up Kirk Newman and his student, our teacher for this. Come on, Megan. Megan is one of the students that want to use this program. And others. I recruited him for his degree, and we called him up over there, and I said, "Yeah, you teach me nothing." He was like, "Well, okay." And I said, "Don't say one, just come on over and look at the design program, and we did it forward, and work with it." And so he's been here, and we do it, and we support.
Well, we're in our third year in the partnership with CNC. There's a really learning program with them. I've been in the trades for many years. Went through a lot of things. Organized activities are, I think. And I'm trying to bring back to you kids and show them what can be done. And the help on the CNC make increases for them. Our partnership, then supplying, help us supply some material. They're bringing it out here. They come in, and they're out, you can walk in and show it. Yeah, I get it. And then, here again, that's why the ag program, agriculture program, they've also brought them into the ag program, which helps a lot. So, we depend on that. Unfortunately, that relationship. Next week we'll go.
Hi, I'm Megan White, who you know. I've been a part of the engineering and hydrogen program the past 2 years. It's by far my favorite class too. This year I built a hydraulic dam stand to export swimsuit. And I've been able to present that at Lower for the Tiger, t-shirt, and I'm also going to present that at San Antonio. It's been a lot, it's been a huge project, and we started working on it. Well, my first idea is for the land again over the summer, and then we started a student group. It's been a lot of fun.
Okay, so these guys come into our classrooms and just invite them. And the students that they bring, help them get ready to model and just what they do. But actually, it's college. One of the things that we talk about, new things, you see, literally that's the, so, next program that we have, we changed over from plain business track. We had entrepreneurship and some random business of business law class. We weren't in any kind of alignment with our business courses. So we got down on and started a marketing program because we had career preparation. What our students need are doing. So the pathway in line with career prep is marketing. So we have these courses here. Social media marketing, advertising. These are the newest, latest, and greatest. And these are really, really important. Sports and entertainment, marketing and fashion goes hand in hand with social media. And learning how to market our life and basically learning and understanding how businesses are all marketing everything online, marketing. And so, but mostly we're looking for our software. Next one we have, finance with Michael, is still going well, which is our county tax basically. And so county one, county two, and then the other one. Again, these are the business industry. Take note, if you'll notice the green boxes, that means there's a certification exam, industry-based certification exam available for that class. So, This one would be for county, would be the QuickBooks basic certification for any students in county two. The previous one in the, CMC pathway was OSHA, and then we have the for design, certification for design. And in advanced down to science, it's not really an industry-based certification, but the only one they really offer is small and medium. So what we have is, go on to the next one. Okay, we have always had information technology, but we kind of showed it up and made it a little bit more, a lot more modern and what we choose. So on the left side, you see Information Technology Academy, which all starts with all of the principal classes we use. And then the next one we have computer programming, which we have always had. It has a certification in Java scripting, which is called the Microsoft Associate Certification. The next one is now web technology. So you can have a multimedia like this, but that was not in alignment because right now under Reference 5, which I'll get to in a minute, requires exact coherent alignment. And they moved the multimedia classes under audio video pathway. So in order to have the digital and interactive multimedia classes, which is popular, and everybody likes to take them, and I love them, I can talk about it a little bit myself, we have to have it under a video pathway. So it's movie making and video. And we did not have that set up or an instructor prepared to make that change. So we went ahead and made the industry requirements, and that would be more towards computer programming, web technology, and Java. So we have those two certifications in that one. Over to the right is our newest information technology pathway that Mr. Marie teaches that we were able to get from Chucksville ISD. Very fortunate. He is also happens to be certified in cybersecurity from New York. So we have shifted over to the foundation for cybersecurity, and we're going to work on that pathway. You can get, in this pathway is probably right out of high school, I would say, are most needed for our students. If they continue through the entire pathway, they can get their commitment or conflict or certification. The next one would be the networking plus certification. And then the final one is either service administration from Microsoft or our cybersecurity foundation certification. If they want to go on to coding side. And so he is qualified to teach all of that, and so we're very excited about that. And so if these students graduate with 4 or 5 of these certifications, they can start right out of high school over 30, 35, maybe 25 hours an hour, depending on where they go. Or get part-time, go ahead and finish up the minimum just for sport. Okay, next one. This is our Health Science Academy that we've been running, and it's very successful. At the end of this pathway, we have our certified certification the first semester. Currently, we have 13 out of 15 students that took that exam, passed the CMA. 5 are from Maryland, in the partnership with Maryland University, and they bring their students over. And so the rest of them were us. We had one student who could not take the exam. He was going to follow up with it, so that means we'd like to do it. And then one student could not make it for other reasons. So out of 15, 13 passed. And those same students are doing very good providing certifications as well as in this semester. There's no reason why that semester is doing good. We should provide it. You can volunteer anything like that, because they're always looking for people. They're doing a good job. They really are. I did it. That's great. This rock line over there is our website. And they do a good job with that. And they are practicing on one another. And so they're actually, I watched a few, they're done well, they're doing it very well. They're getting very well trained by that new academy. It's a very successful course. So our next one is engineering, and that is growing. Kirk and Mom is awesome teaching that. at the end of that pathway, they have a need for participation in the basic qualifications. That is really, local safety certification for us, and college. The next one. These are our STEM pathways through the science department. And so, it is all applied science, all applied math. And then it's class down. And then you have to STEM universities from there. Okay, so, one of the things that we need to work on, we currently have Business Professionals of America, or that's CTSA, who's education organization. As I say, CTSA, that is our wish for the future. We do have a marketing program, and that is, CTSA marketing is that. And so we're hoping that we can get that going, we started in the future. We were slowed down a lot this year, competition-wise, and so DK had a few virtual competitions, but it was really kind of just not enough. And so a lot of schools didn't participate in these. But they go, it goes on, and it's some time, so it's a good thing. But, and HOSA, I think the HOSA up there, the Health Occupation Student Association, we do have it, and we're good members, and they do have some nice things, but when we look at HOSA versus skills, skills has a whole lot more leadership opportunities for all the students in HOSA. It's bigger, it's nationwide, HOSA is getting nationwide, we're just not quite there yet, the opportunity's not there, and so these benefits are our science teacher and cheaper for students. At this point, we provide I think it's good, achieve the leadership aspect of this is way bigger. But, so we can really just do it. Okay. Okay, under Perkins 5 is how and what laws are we on? So we set down 2 years ago, we only the Perkins 5 was going to be set by law, it's going to be 2021, and that's why we had it all in the time, Perkins Trail. And under Perkins 5, you're required to be on law, and within that work, like I said earlier, we completed by the end of 2018. We also had to do a comprehensive local needs assessment for the new framework, which I completed and got submitted. And so all that's done, so our current CTE plan is completely aligned with our CTE state. And so all of that was due in the document. And we actually are going through the so we're good place, we're good and we're aligned. Okay, the other thing we're required by law about is the CTE advisory board. We do have one. Theoretically, you can meet every year, it's not required by state law. PEA requirements, they do want you to do every year. What we did a little bit of initiative since our business partnerships were involved. We do share all of the industry related. Some people sit on the same committees, some people sit on the advisory boards. So I contacted Sabine last week, their CTE director, and I said, well, we put this thing together so they can all come one time. Since it's and so we actually had a joint advisory board with our business partners and Sabine last week to develop our pathways, to look at everything that we're doing, and hear from our business partners what they do. And so it was really successful. Our teachers looked at their teachers, and we have folks over at CTPC. They worked all afternoon and had a nice lunch, and the business partners left, and we our teachers and their teachers. Stayed all afternoon, outlining and working on our pathways so that we can all develop a common ground, which we talked about in the minute that started from our state president. Okay, next. Our community partners, y'all just know, commercial metal. City Economic Development Corporation, the EDC, has been an instrument in getting our students involved in our manufacturing tours, our job shadowing events. Ashley Navarro and Josh Schuber, they could not be here this evening. Josh is at family events, and Ashley has some post-winter things to take care of with her home. And so they could not be here, but they work hard at trying to help our students get involved and get inside these businesses. And, right now, I'd like to introduce you to Ms. Travis. She's, president of the School Chamber of Commerce. And without her, actually, and extra force from Navarro, they came together to bring all of us together. That started all of this in the town pipeline project. We brought the administration from different school districts and campus principals, and we kind of had it out, and we've already been said, gloves off, but we're gonna stay civil, and we sit in the middle, and we said, industry, stay what's on your mind. And then we had our rebuttal, and we turned around and said, education, stay what's on your mind, and we think we're really good at understanding what people are saying.
I just want to say that thank you for being such a great partner to work with. Especially Navarro, Dean, and now Mary, and all part of the pipeline project, and for the COCD and Tesla and the other impactors as well, which makes a great community effort. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you.
Our next partner is with Caterpillar. We are working with Yolanda Edwards, who's starting an apprenticeship through Caterpillar here. Cisco Technologies is the engineer Dave Wheeler and Eric Paul Garza, who is their executive director of HR there. And we're going to go there and so he could not be there. So anyway, those are our additional future growth, we want to build and have those programs. Hopefully, one of the things that I personally would like to bring on is a program called Project India. Which is the way is an innovative project-based learning program that incorporates, of course, STEM fields, and it gives our students an excellent opportunity to work on all kinds of projects within robotics, actually all kinds of areas of engineering. So I have talked to Mr. Barber about it, and it was Ms. Russell, and it was a phenomenal program, and hopefully we can move towards being a PLTW certified school in the future. If it looks like that's something that we can do. Building a health science program for future growth, also been looking at pharmacy tech. I don't know what that is, but I'm pretty sure I need that. And then just continue to grow our industry partners that we have and grow our CTS service, so we can get our students all of those types of leadership opportunities. And I think that's the last one, right? So really what I'd like to do though, is I would just like to thank everybody in here over the years, past administration, current administration. What we have grown and developed and what we hope to in the future is not done by one person. It is everybody's support. From the industry partners, being able to even come in, and having that kind of support, down to transportation. Director of Transportation was never, ever said no at the last second when we needed a bus for tours or, having a minivan to run students. It takes everybody, and everybody has been so supportive in that effort. And I just want to, thank everybody for that. You guys are very supportive in the beginning of all of this. Ms. Russell's very supportive. I know that she has great desire to continue to grow CTE and support all of that. And Mr. Navarro does, and I have even spoken with them. Ms. Wilson here about taking the 2 weeks due in Texas to Texas, taking further studies all the way down to the elementary school and up. And, so it's considerable.
February is CTE recognition.
So we do have ag students that Ms. Lower would like to come up and recognize for their achievements. One of guys.
This split us if we could bring a couple of students and, so we turned to our officer team and a few of them had some previous, commitments tonight. So we have two of our officers, Megan, which you already met, and this is Hagen Boyson. Megan is our treasurer this year for FFA, and Hagen is our signal. And they've actually both, so Megan talked about her ag mechanics project that she took to the county show, and she'll actually be going in San Antonio this weekend with the ag mechanics show in San Antonio. Unfortunately, this year, guests are limited. San Antonio's also for more COVID stuff, so I would normally tell y'all, and I'm sure Kurt would do this, hey, go see what they're doing, but yeah, not special risk this year, so. Yeah, we can't get extra people in. But so we're hopeful, Megan has a good time there in the mechanics contest. And Megan did a little scrambling last night, actually. San Antonio was almost done. We got one more week. This is last week. But him and one of our other students actually scrambled last night and both caught. So they will get money for it. I never watched the back of them actually watch. So I don't know how it is on the floor. I never scrambled, but we do have a lot of our students that have been as active as possible this year. Obviously, this year has been kind of challenging to get to these places. And I know back in the fall, we brought in a couple of our teams that qualified for state, and we're hoping that we'll get a few more. We did get the word that FFA from the state is that we're going to be able to have in-person contests, so we're glad for that. First practice contest before we get to the area level, but we'll also got some more seniors that aren't here tonight that'll be working on scholarships. Texas FFA and National FFA both offer lots of money in scholarship opportunities, and so I know we had 4 of our seniors that fill out the National FFA scholarship application, and over the next couple months we should hopefully find out if they get anything from that. And then the big one that we always try to push some of our kids towards is the Texas FFA one, because there's an opportunity to get $20,000 scholarships for that one. So we're hopeful for that. We've got some really top-notch seniors this year, a lot of really active involved. I think one of the neat things with our FFA program and our ag program, we're able to get lots of variety of students. And so just looking at it this year, we have everyone from the current senior class valedictorian and the other top 10 students on down throughout the ranks, and we try to help each of them find something to be successful in, whether it's in some of our leadership or career development events, or in the classroom, or ag mechanics, with the livestock animals, where there's lots of different opportunities. And like I did mention about photo design certification. Last year was the first year we had some students test, and even in the craziness of the year, they were able to test remotely. And so we had 5 that are in that certification last year, which is everybody that is currently in photo design do that certification this year. Keep going with that.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of our guests. We appreciate you coming tonight.
Moving on to our discussion on it.
So I just wanted to bring up the community facilities meeting. I know that some were there, and some members that were not able to be there. So I wanted to kind of recap. We did several different projects. We went back through and talked about our survey from the community. We talked about our survey from our staff, and brought those together and married them on what was seemed to be most important between the two. All of that information is on our school webpage. So if you go to our webpage, the second link down, I believe, is the facility page. And if you click on that, all of our notes, our slideshow presentation, everything is there for you. One of the activities that we did that night was we asked for advocates to help describe the school district and the community. And so Ms. Agnes has put all that together, and you have before you a list that is everything that was written on our sticky notes. Anything that someone wrote down, we put on here. So everything that was written is on this list. took that list and made it into, I call them word leads. And so this is a paw print, and online, if you go to the webpage, it looks like a paw print. But the word lead is here in this paw print. And the larger words are how many times that word is used. So just looking at this, you see innovative, high expectations, and community, prideful. Those were words that were used over and over again. And so those are a little larger in this area, caring and so forth, and then the smaller words were used ones for five. So we just wanted you to be able to visualize it. We want the community to be able to visualize it. And we're putting everything out there from the meeting so that people can go back, review, and see and become involved. With COVID, we don't kind of hard to be involved and come to some of the meetings. So this way, we're allowing the community to be involved through that. So it is on the webpage. There were some great discussions. Our next meeting is on the 10th, and that is more of a workshop. So what we have planned is we have individual groups, each campus, athletics, transportation, band, RATC, we'll break it out and have the community go from table to table and talk about what the wants are, and then number those wants into what are the real needs first, what needs to come first. So as we start moving along and looking at our growth and a bond, a possibility of a bond, we have a good understanding of where to start and what that would look like as we build it. So it's more of a workshop as we move forward from this point. And we're looking forward to that. Everyone will have a good say-so, and I've invited all the different areas to come so that they're all represented. But I just wanted to kind of bring that up. I didn't know if y'all had anything you wanted to discuss from the community meeting. I will say that I have visited with Lane Poole, and I brought that up at the meeting, but he was busy last week. He was supposed to have been very busy last week with a new project, and snow and ice got in the way, and so now this week he is picking up the pieces, fixing the pipes, and then we plan to have a meeting next week. I don't have a date on yet, but the goal is for all of us to get together next week and have a good conversation. Do you have anything that y'all want to ask me or discuss from the community before these meetings? It'll be March 15th. And I know it falls on a Wednesday, and I know some people are busy with church, and I completely understand that. Trying to find a time where our admin can be here and be involved without all the other sports and everything else going on, Wednesday just seems to be the best night. And we can look at doing some different nights, if we need to move forward, if we begin our planning process. Anytime on that.
Board policy and donations discussion.
So that's the focus on the,
Maybe comments or anything that you need to talk about on that?
We talked about this at the last meeting, that we need some clarification on the policies of donations, just to make sure that we're consistent across the board, right? And then also, I guess the question came up about when we do have something donated to the school, is it inventory? Where's that inventory kept? That kind of thing.
so in the past, I don't know what was done in the inventory, but from this year moving forward, I have asked our technology department to do the barcode scanners on in everything that has been donated that I'm aware of. And looking back, I know there were some things donated even last year before I came, but we will go back, we will tag those, and they'll be part of the inventory, and then, Honey Holmes does an inventory at least once a year to come by, and she uses the scanner and stamps, and we're able to make sure we have those items, and they don't throw eggs somehow and walk away. So we do have those, we are storing, depending on what the item is, it's either stored with our athletic facility or on a campus in a locked area. So we are inventorying them.
When something, in this technology, we know this better, when something's inventory and barcode is being, is there a record of who's in charge of that? I know that for like a laptop, it's issued to this person. So let's take a sound, like a microphone. Is it on record in there who's responsible for them at that point? And that's changeable, like if that person was to resign and leave and then they reassign them to somebody else? I know laptop is probably easy to do, but.
Every single, all of our technologies, internals are well suited assets. They're scanned to a person's name, renumbered, department, whatever it's going, as soon as they resign, or whatever happens, they get something different, that's turned back in, it's checked in, new device is checked out to the next person.
But it goes for like all, I mean, I know you're saying, like, I'm using technology as an example, but does that go for everything that we have across the school? I mean, I understand that at a campus, it's not, you're not gonna do a stand for a flag, you're not gonna have it, set for somebody, I understand that, but when you're talking about monetary, you get a large item, things like we're gonna do, we have $6,000 items coming. I think we need to look at assigning who's responsible for the items, they're not just sitting out in the field, there's nobody responsible.
Right.
That's fine.
So we
Have
have,
a way of thinking that someone should be tied to, that's the person that we go to find out where it's at.
right, so we can begin that process. I know that like on tonight's board agenda, we have rollers. I don't know what a roller is. I'm thinking rollers for my hair, I know that it's not that, but, I know we have rollers, so we can tag those, and make those part of the athletic director's inventory.
Right.
And so we can start going back and looking at past donations and doing that with all of our equipment, yes.
I just want to know that somebody's taking responsibility for the item, it's not just building out there.
So you mean like a checkout process, like if somebody's.
Possibly,
something from
I'm
the-
trying to set a sound system, a portable sound system.
Yeah.
And one day it's at the gym, and it's being used for basketball, and the next day it's at baseball, how do we get there? Who was responsible for making sure that they got there? That's how it got.
And you bring up the sound system, and that's a good one, because I know that that's been something that they moved from there to the, press box out in the girls softball.
Right.
And so, yes, we're tagging it, keeping track of it, so that we do have
And
it.
that's the type of item I mean, because especially with, parents volunteering and things like that, with our, their parents shouldn't be the ones responsible for it, they should be the ones.
Right.
We'll make sure it's taken care of it, right?
Right, and one of the things that we're looking at, reorganizing, from the technology pieces, is we have our inventory system, we actually just purchased one on cost, that is going to separate from Destiny, which is the library system, just because we get way more important out of it. It's already really nice and hot, we can get out. One of the things that I've been looking at, and talking to librarians lately, more than that, is separating some of the items out of technology that really should be in what we call libraries today. So, for instance, projectors or carts, galleries, things like that would make it easier for the teachers to go to their local campus library to get and check out instead of moving them all the way to technology to get. And then they will be invested. And so those types of items like microphones, things like that, that really aren't in specifically technology, will be in the media library technology, which is being a librarian to do and be responsible for that. And, so I think once we get that, rollout is done, so I think it'll be a lot more clear on what kinds of items they need.
Yeah.
And easier to track.
I guess the only body wants to make sure that donated items that are, very expensive, get treated the same way.
Now, I will tell you, donated laptops, and the cost of purchases, they have purchased from MacBooks and iPads and stuff, those are even really good. They're responsible for them, so we service them in the movie.
Do we need to set a monetary value on something that needs to be marked? So we don't want every single football in their lot.
No.
Our technology pieces are monetized in the inventory system, but,
So, I mean, expensive stuff, or what's expensive?
I would say we do need to set a monetary value, I do agree with that. So for me, $100 is good, so, we don't want them to just pick up and walk away.
Well, in the community, is there a process that a person like wants to donate to a specific group? How do they go about donating? Because I think there's some confusion there. Do they go to that organization and say, I want to give you this, or do they have to fill out a form from the school to give it through before they make the donation? Because I know we have a monetary value that we have to approve as a board, but if it's under that amount, how does that go about it? And I think there's a lot of confusion in our community that maybe needs to be cleared up, how to appropriately donate an item.
And there is a form, it was in place before I got here, even it's been in place. Any donation should come to the superintendent's office first. With that form, even if it's $2, it should come through the superintendent. I approve all donations and all fundraisers. And so it should come to me first with the form, and then they can designate what group they would like for it to go to, and who it needs to go to. But it should not ever go to a teacher or a group first and then come to me last. It should come to the superintendent first, so that we can make sure that it meets the needs of the district and, everything's set there, and we can begin the process of talking with technology or the librarians to start tagging and preparing a tag for it once it does come in, and we have that inventory from the very beginning. And we start the PO process for purchasing it.
And I think that's important because I don't think in the past it's always been the right way that it's been done, and so people need to be reminded to do the proper channels, and then get to the organization and donate, because if there's something that we can't have donated, we take them to spend money as an afterthought, and say, oh, sorry, we can't take the donation.
True, and there are some donations that we can't take, so that's a very good point. We can get something put out so that, we bring it back up to the front page and make sure everybody's on the same page. And sometimes we forget, and it has been discussed in a year or two, it does become, you're unsure, you go to that whatever teacher, and the teacher says, oh, yes, I want that, and then they can't have it. So, we will get something out there to bring it back up to the forefront for all the groups, and just for the community itself, so they know where donations start and what it needs to look like.
And then also to the staff.
But we have to make sure with Title IX that we are equitable on both sides. And so, definitely that needs to be brought up as well. We can put something out there that addresses all those. And we don't want something that we already have that a donor may not know that we already have as well, or that we can't accept something. So, yes, we'll get some guidelines out there and probably republish the form, so that we bring it back up to the forefront as well, and our donors can see the form. We're not saying no to donations, but just reminding them of the proper procedure. Donation. We always accept donations.
Anybody else, anything else? If not, we will move on to our reports. I appreciate the distinct of the reports.
Yeah, I did too.
Hi, I'm gonna ask,
Yeah.
y'all like
Really
those?
good to see what's going on. Very informative.
Gives you a good idea of all the different departments, and I could have them come up and speak, but I thought it's not the best, for you to have a look at. I wanted to comment on a couple of them, and one was the high school. I know that, the high school has been working on their, course catalog, And it hasn't gone out yet, and we kind of brushed through, they're working on the catalog and we'll begin the master schedule. There are some things you're gonna see different this next year that we've talked about. One of those is Success 101, and that was a course that was brought out 4 years ago. So those students that took it as a freshman are now graduating, and that was the first time that it was brought up. And so, we had talked about revamping and, looking at what that might look like. Talking with, I know, Ms. Fox was part of that, and, the counselor, Mr. Gary, and a couple of others, talking with them. The, main thing that came out of it was what students were taught as a freshman, filling out a FAFSA and a college application. Really didn't stick with them because now they're seniors and that was 4 years ago, and so trying to remember all of that, so it didn't stick. And so it'd be great having those discussions about looking at different classes that we could offer and what they need to look like. That class kept coming up to the surface. And so as we met, and each one of the principals met with myself and Mrs. Bosch, we started talking about what we could offer and what that might look like. So that's gonna be, revamped in some different ways for our students that would be more, academically inclined to help them as they move through. We're still working on pieces of it. So next month, at the board meeting, we will have a full-blown report for you on how that's gonna look and what some of the other courses are gonna look like that we are going to offer. So there will be some changes coming, and we're going to see you with that right now. One of the other reports that I wanted to talk about, is because I want the community to know as well, is our operations report. One of the things that we had someone come out and look at the cleanliness of our school. And I will tell you that they came out 3 different times, looked at various areas, looked at the chemicals we use, looked at the bathrooms, hallways, classrooms, cafeterias, everywhere. I mean, not even everywhere. And the final report that came back was a kudos to our district that this was the cleanest school they had been in and observed. So that speaks volumes, especially during COVID, that we are doing things right, and our custodial staff is doing some great things already. They did give us some suggestions on things to work on, and we have taken those and really appreciate it. I will also tell you that this was free, this service was free to us, so we didn't pay for them to come and do this. It was a free service. It's a program where they're just starting out, so it's a new startup, and they need to get into some schools. And so I took advantage of it and said, yes, please, we'll be your guinea pig. And I was happy that I did because we were able to really see what we're doing and where we can improve. Even though we're doing well, we can still make improvements, and that's, not just academics, but across the board. So, any questions on any of the reports?
I appreciate the steps that that's
Really
good. Very good.
Yes, I'm glad to hear that.
So now you're at the superintendent's report.
So district enrollment, I did give you an updated hot off the press from today's enrollment. And I wanted to point out a couple of things to you. We're at 1869 as of today for enrollment, whereas last year we were at 1940. I know that, looking at our remote students, across the district, we are at 92% face-to-face. So we only have 8% when you start looking at that and breaking it down. And I will tell you, I've had these conversations with our principals, I've had these conversations with, they've had conversations with staff, I've had conversations with staff. What we're finding is our remote students are not doing as well as our face-to-face students. It's and I know it's hard. It's hard on the teachers, and we heard that from the very beginning, and they've done a great job, and kudos to them for coming to work and knowing that they're gonna have a child on a computer and a child in the classroom, and they haven't complained. They've just come to work and done their job, and really done an outstanding job. But as far as our teachers, and I'll tell you some of the comments that teachers made, was it's hard to have a child behave through the computer. When I've got kids in my classroom and they're misbehaving, I can redirect it. When you have a child on a computer, it's real hard to redirect them, and if parents aren't assisting the teachers, it makes it that much more disruptive in the classroom. And teachers are feeling that. So as a teacher, I am hard. And as a teacher, to know that I might have a child slipping through my fingers and I can't reach them is really scary for me. And I know it's scary for our teachers, but it's such a big part, they want to reach all of our kids. We are considering discontinuing remote learning. And so we've done some investigative work. We have some scores from our math testing, and they are not looking that great. And so we're going to finish up this week looking at all of the data and pulling it all together, that there is a consideration to discontinue after spring break for remote learning and bring all of our kids back at that time. Of course, we will have some students that will not want to come back. If it's a mere need of not wanting to come back, then they will have to withdraw and find another school to attend or homeschool. Of course, if we have students that have a medical need, that need to be remote, then we will definitely look at that and, make exceptions for those medical needs. We'll also continue with students that have COVID, will be able to remote for a temporary time and then come back. So again, we're looking at the data, and we will have more information as we move forward at the end of this week to help make an informed decision. But right now, our data is telling us we're 92% here, and the scores and homework and the struggles of the teachers daily, what's best is for our kids to be in a classroom engaged with our teachers.
It seems like the numbers have gone down.
Yes.
I mean, we've seen the same thing that CMU is almost non-existent right now.
Yes, and the hope is that, and once you have the vaccine, you can still disseminate the virus to other people. So the masks aren't going away, and we know that. But between knowing that we have a clean school and that we're really able to help combat this the best that we can, right now it's telling us that we need our kids here. So under safety and security, I wanted to give you an update. We are in the process of rekeying and coming up with one master key for the entire district. Yay! We have started with our event center and the elementary. We are also moving toward the key card access. There are some places that do not have it, and we're looking at how to incorporate that and doing those in and making it district-wide. There's also been some comments about the dark parking lot over here by the event center, and I hope you know this, when you leave tonight, look that direction. It's not perfect yet, so we are in the process of having those replaced and working on making them brighter. Robbie and his team have done an outstanding job getting on that pretty quick and really getting the light bulbs put in, and it's a little harder because we have kids that park over there, so we have to move their vehicles. And this morning, the guys came into work and they had to call the high school and say, we need some cars moved. So we are working on that, working toward getting all of those light bulbs changed out so it will be brighter and safer for our students when they leave or when they come in from a game at night, that it is brighter there. and then we'll focus on the other areas. of the
Those are on time. So one of the questions that asked me is different parking lots are run on timers and different systems. So like the intermediates on where we're at currently, is on a computer system where it has the energy saving, they can stay on all night. It'll shut off between 1 to 4 o'clock in the morning, because no one should be in between the hours. And then at 4:30. The other ones on the elementary run off of a photo cell, which works off the sun, and then the high school runs off of the night.
Because I know that's always gonna fall, because of the kids get back, whether it's school, they can get back at 1, 2 in the morning, or, they may have to leave early for the fun or something, or something.
I've been at the high school parking lot in the front.
Yes.
And the board, the booth said you can, about 8 o'clock, I like to go out.
We're working on getting those.
Right, I walked out and I'm like, it was only 8 o'clock.
And Robbie and I talked about that and working on getting all of them on a timer system as much as possible, especially high school life, because we have kids coming and going. And being able to change that timer should they come in a lot later, or, making sure that we are aware of it. But we are addressing that. And then of course you have your calendar and events, it's kind of changing. I will tell you, our girls are in the basketball playoffs, and the team that we will play is playing tonight, those 2 teams, and so we will know tonight who we will play and hopefully where, and so that's exciting news. We have some of our students have made it to the regionals in powerlifting. 9.
That is so good.
This weekend we were like,
10 girls.
I said, this is how it
So that's phenomenal in itself, and then of course we have baseball and softball starting up, we have track, tennis, golf. There's a lot of things going on, and in the spring it always happens, but, check your calendar and I'll try to keep you updated as we find out more on different events. If something changes, we'll keep you posted on it.
Okay, we'll move right on to the financial statement. Anybody have any questions on any of those? There's no questions, we'll move on to the consent agenda with the minutes of the regular meeting of January 11th, 2021, and the minutes of the master plan workshop, February 3rd, 2021, and designated donation of $5,900 from the enterprise. Anybody, any of those are going to be removed? No, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that the board trustees approve the consent agenda as presented.
Got a motion by Tracy Lawrence, second by Don Jones, any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote, all those in favor, those opposed, motion passes 7-0. We'll move on into our action items. First one is consider additional professional staff position, elementary classroom aide for treatment.
Yes, so we're coming to the board tonight to ask for an additional para position. Right now, we have 2 pre-K classrooms, one with 22 and one with 20, and one with 11. Of those 11 students, 2 are online, and in that classroom, it's just the teacher, not para with the teacher. We are, let me tell you that we are fine legally. When you start thinking about pre-K, so 4-year-olds, we all have had children, so think back to those 4-year-olds, and you think back to 11 4-year-olds in your classroom, or in your house at one time, by yourself, and trying to get them to sit down. And I've been in these classrooms, it's so much fun to go in. We're trying to get them to sit down and just go through their morning routine of a calendar time and the days of the week, and what is today's day, and looking at numbers and alphabet. So, we are fine legally. And what Laurel and I have talked about is asking you for a position right now, with the understanding that we know we do not need it. We'd like to have it because traditionally after spring break, we get move-ins, and we want to be prepared should we, need to add a person in this country. We're trying to be proactive and think ahead and go ahead and have that position available and ready. If we, bring back all of our remote kids, we have two that are in that classroom that are remote, that would come back, we would definitely need an aide in that classroom at that time as well. So we're asking the board to approve, position at this time for the remainder of the school year. And then we're gonna do pre-K and kindergarten roundup a little early, so that we can kind of get some ideas of what our numbers will look like for next year.
For the rest of this year, and then gonna be $19,000 approximately.
We've seen a pretty good increase in enrollment, but,
Yes. I know we have someone come in today to enroll, the director's been talked, so I don't know what age level yet, but,
Would we be able to, would we be able to, more easily distribute the kids into the classes with capacity of seven, eight? I can see why we have it, roll off study now with an aid and a teacher versus a teacher. Would we be able to?
not this school year, we don't want to move kids away from the teacher that they've been in the room here all year long, so we would not do that.
I'm just gonna say for the highly qualified teaching programs, it's 11-to-1 is the ratio that you get to, so to maintain that highly qualified, you add to the positions, so they have to be 11 in the classroom now, which our numbers are going down to the beginning of the year for pre-K, so we didn't increase it at that time. But this puts us in a position to maintain that highly qualified status, which is, as Russell said, not required, but it's one of those things that I think we've always tried to have here, and knowing that we may get more students after spring break, those would potentially be put into the classroom at 11, rather than the classroom at 12.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to the agency authorize the addition of an elementary school.
A motion by Renee Rachel, second by Ken Shine, any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote, all those in favor? Those opposed, motion passes 7-0. Item number 10B, consider additional staffing position for a strengthening position coach.
So, as Rod and I began having some discussions about staffing for next year, one of the things that keeps coming up is, students, possibility of students being hurt and having some injuries throughout the school year. We have a strength and conditioning coach kind of sort of right now. He's also a coach, he's a teacher, and what we would like to do is to be able to offer strength and conditioning to all of our students, not just those that are going through powerlifting. So those are the ones that are really taking advantage of his knowledge and his coaching right now. And so we'd like to add a strength and conditioning coach for the 21-22 school year and thereafter. This would also enable us to offer, sixth grade free athletics, which is a class, a lot of districts have it, in the sixth grade classroom. It begins with students on the track of understanding what athletics is, and starting at that point, strengthening and conditioning. And so this teacher would be with those classes and would teach the proper way to lift, the proper way to stretch, the proper way to get their body conditioned. And it would help with, the summer program, would help with, sixth grade pre-athletics, all the way up through 12th grade athletics. It would help on the boys side and the girls side, to have equality for both. So we are asking for a certain position.
If you're going to free athletic and prepare, are they not going to be in a traditional PE class anymore then?
They would have a traditional PE, not a free athletic.
I make a motion.
We can handle it a couple of different ways, depending on how we're on the schedule. We tried to get it done past year, but we don't have an extra coach. We're not required to be teaching every time. So it's hard to set that.
So it would be an either or.
And I will say, if they're not in free athletics in sixth grade, that doesn't mean they can't be in athletics in seventh grade. But you'll see a difference between the two in seventh grade, the ones that have had the free athletics and the ones that haven't.
Well, our concern is always, safety. I mean, we talked about that several times over the years, that, we'd like to have someone in there, in that class that's, responsible for those kids. Because I know in the past, we tried to cobble it together, and so I think with that extra person there, we prove our safety.
Yes, definitely.
Would this position still be, would it still be a contracted person, would it still be a professional hire?
Yes.
Would it still be a teaching?
Yes. It would be professional, and we're bringing it to you tonight because if this is something that the board so chooses to move forward with, we want to get it advertised as quickly as possible, so that,
And so I know that we've done some of this, that by adding coach and adding the sixth grade option, we do have all of the equipment that we would need, as well as space to accommodate all of that. So nothing is needed other than just the person.
correct, and Mrs. Mullen and I, when we met and talked about her schedule, this was something that she's able to fit into her schedule.
A lot of it, is learning to control the body weight. Look at teaching the proper form and technique with squat, control the push-ups, we're getting that foundation. Yeah, then we have equipment to bring over, or when they get to a point where coach is comfortable taking them there and letting them get the experience what it is, we'll do that for like hours. And people see that.
Yeah, we've talked about that for a while, just concerning us, a lot of these kids just didn't know what they're doing. Now having someone there that actually can do that, I think that's a benefit to our kids.
Right, as far as, let's say, the high school athletic period is concerned, would he be, or he or she, be the, teacher for that period, so to speak? Because I know that after this 10 athletic period, there's a lot of students in the high school. So you're one teacher, it still be kind of difficult.
We will still have all of our coaches in there. What it would do is, right now, the coach in charge of strength and conditioning is in class and can't ever meet with the coaches individually. He could have the workout, she could have the workout set out for the coaches and be able to find them and time to go explain to them what exactly we want. So he's running the whole class, but our volleyball coach is over here with the group. She knows what's expected out of that lift and what to look for. Our basketball coach is in this section. He knows what to look for in this training thing. Everybody in the class will have a responsibility. Like we do now, there's not enough time in everybody's day to go and talk about and say, this is exactly what I want you to do with every one of these little kids are doing right here.
I just want to make sure we're working at 60 kids or 70 kids on one person. That's the thing.
Our basketball team, volleyball team, sometimes they have to practice in the period because they don't get it after school, they can't get the gym after school because of the junior high game. And he can take them through that workout. This is what you're doing after school, before school, whatever it is. And they know exactly what to do to get the same workout the kids got. They learn the period.
And will the strength and conditioning coach sort of coach the coaches in terms of what
Yes, ma'am.
they may feel is best for the strength and conditioning for that particular sport?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Technique, you know, that we do from the time, when we have our meetings at the beginning of the year, we go through our list, and we'll try to get each coach, a boy and girl coach, male and female coach, you know, you're in charge of our squat, this is what we want to make it, our squats look like, this is what our box squats need to look like, front squats. And then another coach on our explosive list, bench press incline, try to keep it consistent, have him coach everybody exactly what we want to do. Not the same.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that the board of trustees authorize the addition of the strength and conditioning coach for the 2021-2022 school year. I'll second.
Got a motion by Coach Shive, second by Hanky, is there any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote, all those in favor, those opposed, motion passes 7-0. Item number 10C, consider filing a waiver for the missed school days.
Yes, because of the snow and freezing last week, we were unable to have school. But the snow was so pretty on Friday, y'all. It was big, beautiful place. And normally what TEA does is they say you gotta use for bad weather days, and you gotta make it up at the end of the school year if you already used your bad weather days. But they came back out this past week and said, you know what, because all of Texas was affected by this, we're gonna give you the option to do a missed school day, waiver. And so this will not, we've already used one bad weather day, that was on Friday, free bad weather. And so we have one bad weather day left, but what they are going to do is offer us the opportunity to have missed school days waiver and not count against our days and not count against our bad weather days. So we still keep that bad weather days coming up at Easter time. So I am asking the board to approve the missed school day waiver so that we can call for it and be reimbursed for those days.
Does this cover campus and remote?
Yes.
Any other questions? Not all, entertain a motion.
I move that the board of trustees authorize the superintendent to follow waiver for missed school days on February 15th to 19th, 2021.
Second.
Got a motion by Hank Hughes, second by Tracy Lawrence, any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote, all those in favor, those opposed, the motion passes 7-0. Item number 10D is consider changes to the 2021 school calendar.
Yes, so, what has happened is, because we were out last week, it should have been the end of the 4th, 6th week. We wanted to give our students an opportunity to come in and work, to make up any low grades, instead of just ending it and saying, we're sorry, we were out for a week, but, oh, well, it is what it is. Being able to give them the opportunity to make that work out. So as you saw on the form that I submitted to you, the change would be just moving it back a week. And then in that last 6 weeks, there were actually 7 weeks, so it would actually become 6 weeks at that point as well. So each one of them would be 6 weeks.
Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make the motion that the board of trustees authorize the superintendent to change the grading periods for the 2020-2021 school calendar year.
Got a motion by Renee Rachel, second by Coach Shive, any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote, all those in favor, those opposed, the motion passes 7-0. Item number 10E, consider approving the vendor list for all sports and training supplies. Same thing we see every year.
This is the same thing you see every year. These were the ones that submitted for, bids to put on, be on the vendor list, and bids for all sports for spring and fall for the 21-22 school year.
Any questions on the vendor list? No, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, board trustees approve the vendor list as presented for all sports, spring and fall, training supplies for 2021-2022.
Got a motion by Tracy Lawrence, second by Ron Gillian, any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote, all those in favor, those opposed, motion passes 7-0. Item number 10F, consider resolution for emergency repairs.
So I brought this to the board, as we came back today, we weren't quite sure what, we were gonna be looking at, and I needed to go ahead and put it into the board agenda. There may be a couple of things that pop up this week that just stopped working, we're monitoring everything. Our biggest, things that went wrong were we busted at the main water, and that was expensive, but, managed to get it fixed. And then procuring bottled water for tomorrow and Wednesday. And so Robbie did go out and find us a little bit of water to bring back. And so we're happy about that. But in case something goes down between now and the next board meeting, I wanted to have this available to go ahead and get it fixed. I will definitely notify you. It won't be that you won't know, and it'll be a surprise. But I would like to have permission to go ahead and do emergency fixes as necessary should, the freezer stop working tomorrow. We have electricity going on and off so much. That was one of the things that we did see. One of our freezers at, I believe, the elementary went down. Robbie came up, looked at it, got it going again, but that is a fear that it may go down again. The HVAC systems with it cutting on and off left and right, for the past week. So those are just some issues, and I thought that it would be best to go ahead and bring this to you since our next board meeting is, at the end of March.
Any questions about the resolution?
One question I have is, major repairs related to the weather damage, is covered under insurance?
We hope that it will be, but
It depends on, always depends on the damage. We would hope that it should be partially covered by insurance. Texas Department of Emergency Management has put out some stuff about for reimbursement as well. That, we're gonna look at trying to meet their requirements as well at the same time. But we're gonna talk to insurance at the same time regarding that, because usually FEMA, things like that, they make you go to insurance first anyway. So we're gonna have to have a denial for the insurance. But, you know, as the repairs are at the main line, so, what insurance will cover on that is gonna be interesting to have the conversation with them. I would hope they would cover part at this time, I thought this was that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and usually insurance covers, the damages repairs, but not necessarily the repair itself.
Yeah, and if there wasn't any severe damage, that's what, and sometimes they'll cover the repair, but not the damage, and it depends on how the policy is right now. I really need to reach back to the policy, but we're gonna be contacting them from company and talking to them about what we've done and what we covered.
The other question I have about this is, should there be a monetary limit though, as far as, you look at something that's, $120,000 and have it be done that 7 years, if that's something that, that kind of, forward or should it be? It's just a question, not.
right. We can put a cap on there. I mean, the purpose of it was to prevent having to call a special board meeting. If y'all don't mind calling a special board meeting, you don't have to have the resolution. Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't mind the resolution, it's just that I felt like there was fundamentally, when something does, over $100,000 or something does affect that we should have. It was just a question, not necessarily the thing that we have to figure.
can write in and they'll feel more comfortable with that, we can write in now.
Don't we have a monetary dollar amount already in place before we have to approve the $25,000?
$25,000.
That's already in place. I don't know if it's eventually going to come into effect. We really think we're going to have a $25,000 emergency repair.
Yeah, I think right now, we have a couple of meters that are being replaced. We're back online. That's a couple of meters on each campus. I think one of the biggest issues we're looking at right now is our HVAC at the high school. We have a project work, which we'll have able to come out tomorrow. As of right now, I think that's the largest expense we're looking at. But, you know, we're still looking at other electrical issues.
Yeah, I don't think we're doing anything that we.
No, I don't think we're
That's a dollar amount anyway.
Well, I don't think
we're
we're
going
gonna
to
need
need
a
a resolution for that to take place. That's why I said.
And that's why I threw it in here, because we didn't know what we were coming back to before tonight,
I just
so.
think it's not even needed if we have that argument about $25,000 amount. We just like to know about it if it happens.
My issue is that, yes, it's just overwhelmed that, and you're making an exception to that policy at that time, with the resolution.
So basically, I think if it was over $25,000, we would have a special board meeting. So the question would be, do we want to set it a little higher with this resolution?
I don't, we feel that it's not.
Okay, that's what we're thinking.
Yeah, I think it does override the policy of the $25,000.
It will.
Because if something, an emergency comes up, I mean, if a main water line breaks, you gotta get somebody out there, something flooded, a line flooded, you gotta get mitigation services out there right away, and they are not cheap. To get them out, I've seen, gym floors that have been dried out before, with water main breaks, and they are not cheap, but you've got to get them out there immediately in order to stop them.
And a lot of schools are going through that right now, and that's why I said, this was added just as a precaution, not knowing what we were coming back to, because taps were still frozen at the time that the board agenda went out. So, I would say that we don't have to have it now. So,
If we have a special meeting,
we're gonna have.
So we can bypass this on emergency care, but we understand that if the cost of emergency care goes over 25,000, we will have an emergency meeting.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we can move on to item 10G and consider a high school engineering teacher.
So, my understanding was that this came to the board last year, or last year, and the board had approved adding an additional, engineering teacher. It was, advertised, and there was not anyone that had applied for the engineering teacher position. So, we didn't hire one, and as we are looking at making some adjustments to some of our career pathways that you saw, the engineering classes have really taken off, and they are most likely going to be doubling, and we will have to add some additional engineering classes. So we are needing another engineering teacher. Along with this, what this will do is free up Mrs.
Well, yeah,
Well-
it's gonna help the smaller a little bit,
Yeah.
or a little bit, mainly it'll help Greenlawn.
Yes.
That's the kicker there, and it's gonna make it where these pathways can fill up for kids. Right now, Greenlawn's schedule is ag mechanics and engineering, and there's like almost no.
Right, and so there'll be a little
We
bit
had
of
two
both
people
there.
come to high school today.
Right.
They didn't all get enrolled in different things, but, that's 2 weeks. And so imagine what it's gonna look like next year. So it just gives a lot more flexibility and see if we can move forward with this.
If that's the other motion.
Yeah, we talked about that, and with what we saw tonight, the way it's going to be. It's amazing.
just get on board with it.
It's exciting, the growth that, we are seeing in our PPE departments, and engineering is one of those that a lot of students want to go into, boys and girls. And so, being able to have an additional teacher, my hope is that we can hire someone that also wants to maybe do, a robotics class, you know. So I'm trying to look at some other areas, and Clay and I really sit down and gone through what we want the high school to look like and what we want to be able to offer. So those are just ideas and thoughts out there, but having an additional teacher would definitely free up some pathways.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I don't have any problem at all adding it. I was, since this is your first year going through this with the board, I just want to, sort of remind or educate you. Typically the process is a list of priorities is pulled together from all the campuses and given to the superintendent. And then we discuss that with you in terms of, so that we're not seeing one position this month and then another position next month, and we don't get to see the full picture of what we think is needed for the next year, and how that's going to impact budgets and all of that stuff. And so, I don't know, for the past 3 or 4 years, at least, that's how it works with, this program. I think that's our preference, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Just so that we know each campus has needs and they have wants and all of that stuff, and that way we can see how you rank them and what you're suggesting that it can be for the whole year. Instead of it being like one here, one there, one here, and try to keep up with that.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yes, that is fair. And I will say the reason that we were bringing this one and the other one to tonight was simply because I knew that, the engineering teacher, we didn't have any applicants when it was advertised before. So trying to get it out there and get it out there early was, important, so that we could get some applicants.
Well, it may be that way with some of our other positions, so that's why I was giving you a heads up, so that you can go ahead and see what some of the requests might be.
And like I said, I visited with each one of the principals. We talked about what the needs are, what the wants are. We're having those staffing meetings, so, but yes, I do understand, so if you want to wait, we can wait until next
Yeah, I'm totally supportive of this, I'm just saying going forward, it would be nice. Yeah.
Okay.
I love this, I love what you guys have done with CTE. It's amazing.
All right, is there a motion?
I make the motion that the Board of Trustees authorize the addition of engineering teachers for the 2021-2022 school year.
Got a motion by Donnie Jones, second by Ray Rayfield, any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote, all those in favor, those opposed, the motion passes 7-0. Item number 10H is consider a resolution regarding employee pay during the weather emergency.
Yeah, so the waiver for missed school days is just that, it's for missed school days for students. It doesn't, waive employees and their pay. So what we're asking for is the ability to pay, I'm talking about our hourly people that, were off and not able to come in. They were willing and ready to come in, but, unable to get here, as all of us were. So this will cover their pay and allow us to be able to pay them and our, teachers as well for being off. We are a district of innovation, so their contracted employees are still taken care of. This kind of encompasses all of them. We did have, our maintenance crew and our custodial staff that came in on Friday to work, and, we would like to pay them time and a half for being here on that day, getting everything taken care of and cleaned up and ready to make sure that we didn't have any other problems. They worked half a day that day. And so, that resolution also covers that piece as well.
Any questions on that? I know we've always been Try to take care of employees. If no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the board of trustees authorize the superintendent of schools to compensate school district employees who remain regularly and able to work to reach appropriate 2019, but who are prohibited from working due to emergency weather conditions.
Got a motion by Hank Peters, second by Coach Scott, any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote, all those in favor, those opposed, motion passes 7-0. It is now 8:50, and the board may go into closed session pursuant to Texas Open Meetings Act, section 551.001, for the Texas Government Code. Any discussion will be, and also section 551.074, to consider and discuss personnel plans, employment evaluation, reassignment, and use. Any action will be taken in open session.
Y'all can go home.
Yay! Okay, now it's.
I haven't seen the team play yet this year, so. I know.
All right, it is 10:04 and we are back in open session. We have no motions, so therefore it's still 10:04 and this meeting is adjourned.
We turn these things